When the Lexus RZ launched in Australia just over 2 years ago, CarsGuide questioned the Japanese luxury brand's relatively late arrival at the EV party. And since then, this car's proved something of a niche player, with less than 100 sold in 2024 and the same number tracking for 2025. But there's been movement at the RZ station. This comprehensively updated model features a revised powertrain, retuned suspension, tweaked all-wheel drive system, and the availability of things like drive-by-wire and a tricky manual mode in the auto transmission. And yes, Lexus claims it's more refined than its already smooth and near-silent predecessor.
Scheduled to hit local showrooms in the first half of 2026, we've been invited to take a first drive of this large premium battery electric 5-seat SUV at its global launch. So stay with us to see if this could be your next electrically propelled performance luxury family favourite.
Lexus says final price and specification for the car will be confirmed closer to its local arrival in the first part of next year. But as a guide, the current RZ 450e in luxury spec costs around $120,000 before on-road costs. Go for the full-fat sport luxury and you can add $10,000 for $130,000 MSRP.
Let's take an educated guess and add a not outrageous 5% price increase for this update, which would bump the new RZ 500e past $125,000 and move the RZ 550e flagship close to $140,000. If that was the case, rivals will include the Audi Q6 e-tron, BMW iX, Genesis GV70 electrified and Polestar 3. Worth noting, you could buy 2 Tesla Model Y dual-motor long ranges for the same money. In this part of the market, it's fair to expect a healthy list of included features, and the RZ doesn't disappoint. For a full rundown, go to our detailed written review at carsguide.com.au. But aside from the performance and safety tech we'll get to shortly, standard feature highlights include a 14-inch multimedia touchscreen, a dimmable panoramic roof, ambient cabin lighting, 20-inch alloy rims, synthetic leather trim, power-adjustable heated front seats, multi-zone climate control, and more.
Not a tremendous amount of change in terms of exterior design, but you still do get this angular treatment with prominent nose and 20-inch rims on both variants of the car, 550 and 500e. This F-Sport picks up extra aero-focused kind of bits and pieces, particularly around the lower bumper at the front, aero covers on the wheels, and at the back, you've got this spoiler on the tailgate and a special treatment around the lower section of the bumper at the back. Not much has changed inside here either, except for this steering wheel shaped elephant in the room. It is a yoke that goes with the steer-by-wire, so a definite departure there. However, the curved binnacle for instruments and this central multimedia screen, as well as the design of the centre console, remains unchanged. Having said that, there are some new dynamic inserts that are available, illuminated moving graphics in the doors that will certainly stand the car apart.
Lexus has also refined the functionality of the touch dimmable panoramic roof, which works beautifully.
Both versions of the new RZ are powered by dual permanent magnet synchronous motors, one in the front, one down at the back. Each produces around 170 kilowatts and close to 270 newton meters.
Total output is 280 kilowatts for the 500e, up from 230 kilowatts in the 450e, with a little more juice released for the 550e. A single-speed transmission sends drive to both axles, and the RZ 550e F-Sport features interactive manual drive, designed to give the sensation of manual gear shifts in a battery electric vehicle. More on that in the driving section.
In terms of practicality in the front, no conventional glove box, but there is a large box between the front seats which doubles as the armrest, and it has that Lexus trick of being able to open both ways. 2 cup holders here, a wireless charging pad, decent door bins for bottles and other bits and pieces. And then when it comes to power and connectivity, you've got USB-C for charging and media. You've got a 12 volt down here and an additional tray underneath this kind of flying buttress console. So plenty of room to be storing your bits and pieces and powering up devices. Here we are in the back of the car and I'm sitting behind the driver's seat set for my 183 centimetre position. I've just got hectares of room, so much distance between my knees and the back of the front seat. Good headroom too. Shoulder room, I think 2 full-size adults is better than 3. You can have someone in here at a squeeze, but it's going to be 3 up to teenage kids would be fine. Then in terms of storage, pockets on the front seat backs, bins in the doors. There are a couple of cup holders in this fold-down armrest. You've got individual ventilation control for the rear seat passengers, which is always welcome. And then for power, you've got 2 USB-C outlets and what will be a 3-pin socket when this car comes to Australia. We're in the F Sport, so you've also got heating controls for the outer positions in the back here. So I think you're pretty well taken care of back here.
Lower rear axle packaging enhances boot space with a generous 500 plus litres on offer, expanding to more than 1400 with the 60/40 split folding second row lowered. The standard power tailgate is nice, while a repair inflator kit instead of a proper spare isn't. Brake trailer towing capacity is a handy 1.5 tonnes. The RZ500E and 550E are fitted with a higher capacity 77 kWh lithium-ion battery, delivering a claimed WLTP range of 450 and 456 kilometres respectively. Claimed 10 to 80% charge time using its full 150 kilowatt DC fast charge capacity is 30 minutes, or a handy 3.5 hours at maximum 22 kilowatt AC capacity. Energy consumption on the combined urban-extra-urban cycle is 18.2 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometres WLTP for the RZ500E and 18.4 for the 550E. Over several hundred kilometres of B-road and freeway running, as well as pottering through slow-speed villages on the launch, we saw an average of 19.3 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometres in the 500E and 20.1 in the 550E F Sport, which is pretty handy. And the very good news is 2 AC charging cables, installation of a home charger and 3 years complimentary charging across the ChargeFox network is included. Nice. So we're in the Lexus RZ 550E F Sport, and Lexus says that it will accelerate from 0 to 100 km/h in 4.4 seconds, and the 500 is a couple of tenths slower. It's a fairly hefty machine, but it certainly is quick. Apply your right foot at just about any speed and you will rocket ahead with genuine enthusiasm. And in this F Sport model, you've got the manual mode on the transmission, which allows you to shift through 8 virtual ratios. So just press M here and bingo, you've got these steering wheel mounted little toggles as much as they are paddles. They're very Formula One style. And when you start to apply some acceleration, you can feel it. So here we go. And it gives you quite an unpleasant jog. You want there to be some sense of a gear change, I suppose, but when you are going through the gears, you can feel it in your core. It's not particularly nice. A synthetic soundtrack Lexus refers to as the BEV sound, vaguely echoing an internal combustion engine, is fed through the audio system and it feels thin and brittle to our ears. Suspension is strut front, double wishbones at the rear, and it's been given a thorough going over in both the 500E and the 550E. We are in the F Sport now, which gets that little bit more attention to the dampers and springs, and it rides pretty well, especially for what is not unusual in the sense that it is a heavy car. The battery's quite low down, but these roads that we're on in Portugal, southern Portugal, are pretty Aussie compliant in that they're not at all perfect. There are lots of bumps and little ruts and things, and it's coping with those pretty well. There's also been some extra attention paid to body rigidity in this updated RZ, around the front frame section and particularly in the rear around the boot to try and keep the car more torsionally stiff, and it seems to have achieved that objective. In cornering, the drive distribution ratio is between 80-20 front to rear-wheel drive only, according to vehicle speed and steering angle, helping to manage the car's roughly 2.1 tonne weight. The F-Sport, of course, also features the steer-by-wire system, and we're using this yoke rather than a conventional steering wheel. And the ratio is such that all you have to do is turn the wheel a little bit and you are cornering. And having said that, it is quite smooth. It's progressive but quick at the same time, if that makes sense. And you soon become used to it. It is a little unusual just seeing a little tiny yoke in your hands rather than a steering wheel. It does mean you get uninterrupted view through to the instruments, which is a side benefit. But just turning in, it's smooth but quick, yeah. That's the best way to describe it. However, much like the Infiniti Q50 system before it, there is no mechanical link between the driver's hands and front wheels. Steering inputs are relayed by electric signals from a torque actuator to a control actuator. So while Lexus says important feedback filters through without the unpleasant vibration effects of a mechanical connection, by definition there is no road feel, and the wheel feels numb from that point of view. Worth noting, the mechanically steered 500e is pretty much the same. Braking is by ventilated discs all around, and when you're not using the manual mode in this F-Sport grade, the steering wheel paddles will help you adjust the level of regenerative braking. So the physical brakes work nicely, but then you do have 4 levels of regen. The most aggressive will slow you quite markedly, so it's pretty useful. Additional sound insulation includes an under-seat rear floor silencer, soundproofing in the door trims, as well as liberal use of damping sheets, foam, silencer pads, insulators and extra seals. In terms of miscellaneous observations, the sport seats in this F-Sport model are good. We've spent a good long while behind the wheel and they've remained comfortable and nice and supportive. Also, when you're manoeuvring at slow speed, you've got the 360-degree overhead view with kind of a translucent trace of the car to show you where you are, as well as a high-quality reversing camera. Vision across the car and through to the back is pretty good anyway, but they really help you in slow speed stuff. There's a sensible mix of physical dials and on-screen controls, and the touchscreen menus are easy to use, especially handy when you're racing to the function that turns off the intensely annoying overspeed warning. The RZ received a maximum 5-star ANCAP assessment in 2022, scoring 80% plus results in all areas. As you'd expect, a full suite of driver assistance tech is on board, including AEB, adaptive cruise, lane keeping assist, lane departure warning, blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert, driver fatigue monitoring, tyre pressure monitoring, and more. The airbag count runs to 9, including side curtains, knee bags for the driver and front passenger, as well as a front centre airbag. There are 3 top tethers for child restraints across the second row, with ISOFIX anchors in the 2 outer positions. That's a comprehensive safety package. The RZ is covered by Lexus Australia's 5-year unlimited kilometre warranty, and there's an 8-year 160,000 kilometre warranty on the drive battery. That general warranty is in line with the RZ's key competitors, although it's worth noting an increasing number in the mainstream market are stepping up to longer terms, including 10 years. Recommended maintenance interval is 12 months 15,000 kilometres, which is relatively brief for an EV. Cap price servicing is yet to be confirmed, but for reference, the outgoing 450e runs to $395 for each workshop visit, up to a maximum of 5 years, 75,000 kilometres. That's sharp pricing in this part of the market. The RZ also qualifies its owner for platinum electrified benefits under the Lexus Encore ownership program. That means everything from access to exclusive offers and events, to a complimentary service loan car, 5 years roadside assistance, valet parking at selected locations, airport lounge access, and heaps more, including the charging benefits mentioned earlier. Hard to argue with that.
Smooth, quiet quality sums up this new and improved Lexus RZ. But will tricky new tech like steer-by-wire and a manual mode in the auto transmission be enough to sway more premium electric SUV buyers its way? When you think about the value proposition and the ownership package, I think it just might be. Tancina Dainki.